So, Chapter 15: Telecommuting and Mobile Computer Security. So I'm the first reporter. I'm Katipay, and then next reporter will be Colobio, and then Castillo. So, introduction. The pervasive growth of the Internet, along with the advancement in communications, has made it easier than ever for many work-related tasks to be performed outside the normal workplace. Telecommuters approach life in a fundamentally different way than a regular employee who works at an office does. They are suspected of not really working, and it takes a certain kind of person to be able to work remotely. It requires strong self-motivation and self-discipline. Moreover, there are many advantages in telecommuting, such as the fewer interruptions and increased efficiency of telework. Telework helps them catch up on their work and reduces stress, commuting time, and the cost of going to work. This is very pertinent to Filipinos, who, on average, spend the equivalent of 6 to 8 work weeks traveling to and from the job each year. Work-life balance in the home office. So remote work has its fair share of really great benefits, but that doesn't mean there won't be struggles as you adjust to this new way of working. Even if you've been working remotely for years, the added pressures of having kids home and a full household can make working from home more challenging than before. Household chores and on the job, is it okay to do both? So let's find out. Here's a scenario. When working from home, is it okay for you to also do the laundry, take out the trash, and vacuum the living room during work time? Do the needs of home conflict with your work demands? So there are two kinds of people. It is the conservative and the liberal. So the conservative says the best policy is to treat the workday as a sacred and refrain from any personal activities during that time. Just as in working in the office, you can take a couple of personal breaks during the course of a day, but make those scheduled and brief. The liberal says the ability to accomplish small household tasks constitutes one of the biggest advantages to working from home. You should be able to do some chores during the day and still get your work done, as long as you keep your company work your top priority. The next one is when the office is at home. What about caring for children? So, here's the scenario. You have two girls, ages 8 and 10, who go to school until 3 p.m. and then to an after-school program at the Boys and Girls Club. Because you and your husband work full-time, your girls complain about the after-school care, saying it is boring and it makes for a long day. Your group has recently reorganized and you now report to someone in another state. Therefore, you will be telecommuting. Is it alright for your children to take the bus home from school since you will be there anyway? So the uh, two kind of people say answers, the conservative and the liberal. So the conservative says you cannot effectively care for children while you are trying to work. You would not have your kids running around your office and interrupting you, nor should you at home. And then the liberal. If your children are quiet and responsible, you can probably have them at home while you are working. You should have activities set up for them to do alone, and a clear set of rules about when and how they are to interrupt you. So, proper reimbursement for telecommuters. What are you charging for? So here's the scenario. Do you feel you are reimbursed for all of your expenses when you work at home, such as long distance phone calls, electric bills, dial-up connections, and so forth? So the conservative says you should keep an itemized log of all expenses, and submit a regular report that accounts for charges that your company should reimburse you for. For electricity, determine your office equipment's computer, copier, fax, daily usage in kilowatt hours, multiply it by local electric rate, and multiply the result by your workdays per month. 20 for full-time work. If you're using the internet for personal as well as business use, you need to prorate that expenses as a credit back to the company. While the liberal determine the cost of all directly related company expenses such as internet and long distance costs and bill them accordingly. Do not try to account for electricity and heating charges. Figure that the expenses will be balanced out. So, handling personal finances, is this fine in the home office? While working while you are working from home during the day, is it okay for you to manage your portfolio checking the latest stock prices? The conservative tells that it depends on what you would do if we're in a regular job setting. If you would not do it from the office, you should not do it while working at home. While the liberal says you are entitled to a few breaks and how you spend them is your business. It is good for your overall financial well-being to keep up with the investments. For me, I will go to for a liberal because I agree with it that I am entitled for a few breaks and how I spend my time in their business because I'm still working at home. So the next one will be the personal privacy for telecommuters. How much you should have. Are you entitled to the same amount of personal privacy if you work from home? In other words, does your manager have a right to ask you about the environment of your home? Conservative says, of course he does. At the office, your manager would know the state of your workspace. Therefore, he should be able to stop by your house anytime to see how you are coming along with the project. Since it is impractical for him to do so, he can ask you questions to learn more about your setup and what you are doing. The liberal, if you are if you're getting your work done satisfactorily, there is no reason for your manager to be concerned about what your office looks like when you are working with others. How you keep your space can have an influence and set an example your boss may not like. When you are in the privacy of your home, you do not have to change your habits to suit him. Personal errands. What if you make up the time? As a telecommuter, you manage your own time. Is it accept is it acceptable to leave during the day for a personal errands, such as taking a trip to the grocery store, if you make up the missed hours during the evening? The conservative says you should keep an itemized log of all expenses and submit a regular report that accounts for charges that your company should reimburse you for. For electricity, determine your office equipment's computer, copier, fax, daily usage in kilowatt hours, multiply it by local electric rate, and multiply the result by your workdays per month. 20 for full-time work. If you're using the internet for personal as well as business use, you need to prorate the expense as a credit back to the company. And the liberals say, determine the cost of all direct related company expenses such as internet and long distance costs and bill them accordingly. Do not try to account for electricity and heating charges. Figure that the expenses will be balanced out. So that will be all my report about the chapter 15. I am Ace Prince Okatipay based in Information Technology under the class of Engineer Samikayat. Thank you.